Since I was a kid, my dream has been to be a published author. And despite the fact that The Martian, the Twilight series, and a lot of other household names were originally self-published, my dream is to be a published author for real. You know, like with a publisher and an agent and all that good stuff. About 2 years ago, I took my friend Joanne's workshop called Getting Your Book Published. Now, my first novel, Caged, wasn't finished yet, but I knew where it was going and I knew I wanted to get it published, hence the workshop. And in the workshop, we drafted query letters and read them out loud to class, and everybody loved my pitch. It's like Die Hard, but the terrorists are vampires. And everybody said they wanted to read my book, and they didn't say that to everyone. So after the workshop, I was excited. I wanted to start sending that query letter out and get myself an agent, except that there was this one rule that Joanne gave us. Just a little teeny tiny rule, which is that the book actually has to be finished. So a few days later, I was talking to my friend Anne, and Anne is an executive coach, so she's very motivational, and I was saying, you know, I want to get the book done. I want to start querying agents. It's just so hard. You know, every week I tell myself I'm going to write the next chapter this week. I'm going to write the next 5,000 words, and then things just get in the way. But when I have a storytelling show, I write my story. Anne said, your shows give you a deadline. You need that for your novel. Well, I try, I set goals, it just doesn't work. She said, no, you need a real deadline. Why don't you submit that query letter to an agent? It'll take them a month to respond, and you'll know that you'll have to get the book done. That sounded like a bad idea. So I called Joanne and I said, this is crazy, right? I can't lie about having a completed manuscript. I don't even know how long the book's gonna be. Joanne said, that sounds like exactly what you need to do to motivate you to finish the book. You can guess at the length of the novel, and an agent will take at least a month to get back to you. With her blessing, I decided to go for it. But if I was going to write to an agent to motivate me to finish my novel, I was going to get the best motivation possible by querying the best agent possible. I dug around and I found Neil Gaiman's agent. Now, the guy is a rock star. He has a fantastic career that I would love to steal, and he happens to write in my genre. And when I found his agent, who I'm just going to call Mary, Mary is with the largest literary agency in Manhattan. Of course she is, which was even better motivation. On the agency's website, it says, send your query letters via snail mail, and Mary will respond in 6 to 8 weeks. Now, despite the oddness of the snail mail, the 6 to 8 weeks sounded perfect. So that Wednesday, I wrote up my query letter, I printed it out, I signed it, I stuck it in an envelope with a stamp on it, I stuck it in the mailbox, and I uttered a silent prayer. And then I thought, shit. I only have 6 weeks to finish this book because you never know, she might respond. I better start writing. Just not today. You see, I had already printed and mailed a query letter. That is enough writing for one day. And then, well, Thursday I was just slammed at work. And then Friday, well, it's Friday. Nobody writes on a Friday. But that Friday afternoon, 2 days after mailing my query letter at 4:45 p.m., the assistant to Neil Gaiman's agent wrote me and said, Mary would love to read your novel. Please email it to us. Holy shit! Neil fucking Gaiman's agent wanted to read my book! This was the best thing ever! I was going to get the best agent ever! Except that there was the little problem of the little white lie I had told. I think what I had said was a completed 50,000 word manuscript, when what I actually had was a half-finished 30,000 word draft of a book. Whatever happened to 6 to 8 weeks? And what's with the sudden love affair with email? At least if I could have mailed it, I could have blamed the post office when it didn't arrive. But I'm a writer. I could think of an excuse like nobody's business, right? So I wrote the assistant back and I said, I'm on vacation and I don't have access to my manuscript, but I'll be back in 2 weeks and I'll send it to you then. She wrote back and said, that's great. Mary looks forward to reading it. Okay, that's good. I bought myself some time. Right now, the first 30,000 words had taken me approximately 2 years. And now I had 2 weeks to write the next 20,000, no problem. I took the next 2 weeks off of work. I lined up some friends who were willing to read the novel and give me feedback right away, so there would be some revision going on, and I got to work. Every morning, I woke up, I sat down at my computer, and I started writing. All day, every day. And it was awesome. I loved it. I kept thinking, why have I never done this before? And it turns out that all I really did need to motivate me was a pretty hardcore deadline, because 2 weeks and 22,000 words later, I was able to submit my completed 52,000 word manuscript. Mary's assistant wrote back right away, Mary will respond in 4 to 6 weeks. It looked like I was in for a month of nail biting, but that was okay. I was already imagining hanging out with Neil Gaiman and other uber successful authors at swank New York and LA parties, because I know that's what authors do. And I was picturing signing all the contracts for the book deals and the movie deals and meeting with the HBO executives. And Mary's assistant wrote back 3 days later, which is good because my imagination might have gotten away from me. She said, Mary only takes on a few new projects a year and has to have a real passion for them. I'm sorry, it's nothing personal, but Mary is not accepting your manuscript. It really was a very nice rejection letter. I just felt that the rejection was a little bit depressing. I called my friend Anne again, and I told her how upset I was, and she said, you finished a novel. You have a completed manuscript. That's fantastic. Yeah. I called Joanne and complained to her, and she said the fact that they responded so quickly means you have a good idea. People will be interested. Yeah. I mean, if the best agent in New York liked my idea, then there's a good chance others would as well. And if she liked my idea, but not so much my manuscript, then I figured maybe finishing it in 2 weeks was not the ideal way to complete a book. So I went back to work on that. I sent it to more friends, I got more feedback, I did more revisions. I hired a professional editor, I got his feedback, I did more revisions. 2 years and about 1 million drafts later, I finally feel like my first novel, Caged, is complete, for real. Now, I didn't completely give up on finding an agent. Over the last 2 years, I have continued to query, and of the 50 or so that I have queried, Mary is still the only one to ask to read my manuscript, which sucks, because it has gotten so much better. But over the last 2 years, I've done a lot of soul searching, and I've realized that I am someone who needs a scary deadline to motivate me, and I have another one coming up. On October 22nd, Caged is being published. For real. It is being published by me. Because what I figured out is, maybe self-publishing isn't that bad. Did you guys know that The Martian and the Twilight series were self-published? Thank you.